Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is in episode 126. In today's episode, we are going to discuss about it and talk about it, how twin flames are actually real and what you are experiencing is real. And also, how do I know that or how I don't know about that? You will figure this out on this podcast episode. I'm also going to say very quickly and very briefly that this episode is not going to be that I know how it is. There is a scientific proof that this is the real thing, and you will look into the facts of what science is saying, and I know there's a proof and I am the one who is the messenger and I am the smartest. No, I believe that twin flames are very sacred and very much felt from the heart. So the fact of science, the fact of proving, the fact of showing how things have to be and how things are right, in certain ways for me it's very ego-based. And that's what Twin Flame Journey is actually going to teach us, that it's not about looking for validation. It's not about looking for the proof. It's not about having a scientific answers and if it makes sense. It's about going within and trusting your heart, what your heart tells you, what do you feel, and what your soul speaks to you, what your higher self is speaking to you. And in that matter of fact, I can already say it on this first minute over here, twin flames are real. That what you're feeling is real. The connection between you and this energy in another's body is real. And I'm going to walk through with certain things. Of course, I'm going to talk about quantum entanglement. We've got quantum physics is here, and it has proven to us certain things that our mind would say, but that's not real. How this thing can happen? And often we go into again of looking for that answer. There has to be a scientific proof that what I'm feeling is real. But you know what is real? Your heart. Another thing is exactly what I'm going to talk about is the 3D and 5D shift. What means the third dimension and what means the fifth dimension? And as long as we are in a mind of 3D looking for proof, it's very difficult to step into the 5D where we have all the answers within. And that's why also this podcast, this journey, what I'm sharing is not here for me to tell you, I know how to get to the union. I have got so many people into the union. Look, they're all together. Their twins are coming back to their life. Magic is happening. It's me. No. It's not me. It's you. It's you who is stepping into from 3D into the 5D, into the trust. And what is the 3D and 5D? I often hear when people say, oh, we have an ascension, we are going into the 5D. And my question always is with big eyes, I look at them and I say, but where is the 5D? And in their minds, the 5D is in like somewhere else, like some other universe, some other planet, some other thing. But not the 5D is in your heart. That's why many of you who first met their twin flames had a situation, and I'm not saying that this happens to everyone on spot, but many of you had a situation where you were in a sense of feeling that you are living two different lives, like two separate universes are now coexisting together. You remember the 3D, where everything is familiar, everything you know. And now you are in another universe, in 5D, where it feels so overwhelming because you hear your soul, you hear your heart, you hear the connection within you. You have telepathy, you sense things that you never sensed before. Your heart cracks open and it's very painful. All these things are going to happen when we're stepping into 5D. And that's why I say that your life will never be the same. Your life will never be the same once you meet your twin flame. But your twin flame, I'm also going to break it apart a little bit. Who is your twin flame? And maybe I'm going to actually start with that right now. Is the fact that who is the twin flame and why do they come to the life? We hear that so often. And I just wanted that you take a deep breath in, and from your mind, you just a little bit reprogram it. Because we have this little problem, on twin flame journey, that we all hear that you are one soul. All right? You hear about it that your twin is you. Okay? But then our mind comes in and starts to separate that you from your twin. Meaning of whether your twin is a man or whether your twin is a woman, whether your twin is different nationality, whether your twin has different habits, different traumas, different things. So we start to separate them. But in your heart, you know that you are one. But in your mind, you're separating it. Because in reality, now just let's take the moment when we talk about the chasing. You're chasing for your twin. And believe me, I also want to say this. When I was going through that longing, that need for your twin flame, because it's a little bit like a drug. And actually a little bit is quite, how do I say, nicely said. A little bit like a drug. It is it's actually such a big drug that your mind and your heart and everything operates on that moment. If I get to just see this person one time, or if I get just this one message, or if I get just this one thing from my twin, I will feel good. So I have never had any addictions in my life, but I can say that this was an addiction. And in my next episode, actually, I'm talking about it, when twin flames can get dangerous to you. But I'm going to just, as I haven't had addiction, so I don't know exactly what addiction means, but I can tell in that sense, a twin flame, when you need that energy, you need that love, all you could think of is, I want to have that person. So it's a little bit like maybe an addictive mind in that sense of like, I will have this one dose, or I will have only this one drink, and I'll be okay. I just need that one, and then I will feel peace and I feel connected. Yeah, but the peace and connection comes from where? From inside of you, not outside of you. And it's the same with twin flame. Now I want to say something that I know it's so divine, and you have never felt something so deep. So it's very difficult to be in the mindset what I'm going to just talk right now. So I'm not saying that you need to agree and you need to embody this today, but just take it within a very open heart. And why do I say that? It's because it's going to bring the difference in your journey. Because if you are going to think that your twin is separate from you, your twin is forever in that sense of separate from you. So what we have heard many, many times, and a lot of so-called twin flames coaches, or however we want to I call it, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the labels at all. But we would say your twin flame is you. Okay? So now, in a way, we should understand in our mind, but it's funny what starts to happen to us. We start to believe, okay, my twin is me, so that's why it feels so divine. It feels so connected. But then we go immediately to the understanding, but he is like this, she is like this, they have this, da 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 da. Okay, so again, we're separating. Think of this now just think for a moment. Close your eyes and think for a moment. It's you. All of a sudden today, I take your energy. I take that life force energy that you are, the love and the life, and I put you in another body right now. So all of a sudden, you're operating in another person's body, in another person's life, in another person's thing, the ego, in another ego. But your energy is the same. I'm sure we have seen movies sometimes. There have been some funny movies where you can see how people change the bodies, their soul changes. Yeah? Let's say they were a man, and now they're a woman, and the woman becomes a man, and they're confused, like they think in their heads that, but I am this, but why am I acting like that? So now think of this for a moment, that your twin, in that sense, that energy, which we call today twin flames, is exactly like you. In that sense, energetically, it's like you. Not in an ego-wise. These are very two different things. Because me also, I can today decide I'm going to be a ballerina. Or I'm going to be I don't know. What can I be? Anything. And I'm starting to build my ego around it. That's the mask. That's the ego, what I'm building. Here is why also, for me, it's very difficult to have the labels. Another day I also said that I don't see people. I see their souls. That's why sometimes I have difficulties when people come to me and they say, oh, do you know this girl, let's say dark hair or blue eyes? And it takes me a little bit of a time to connect. I'm like, okay. And once I understand the energy, I'm like, I know who you talked about it. I don't see the race. I don't see the color. I don't see anything. And it sounds crazy, but I don't. And I have sometimes very difficulties to understand when people explain me, who are these people? Because I am seeing the energy. All I see is the energy. So, and yes, of course, I'm not saying that we don't have our avatar, but that comes completely secondary or third to me. I'm not saying that my brain doesn't function this way, but in certain ways it doesn't. So now think of this, and why I talk about this way. Because we have this idea that we need to heal another person. We need to change them. We need to have, we need to do something for them. We need to show it to them. We need to tell them we are twin flames. We need to tell them about the connection. But now let's rewind a little bit and think about it. But why do you need to say that to someone who is you? Now, again, think of the same way. Your soul, I put today into another body. But the soul has a consciousness, has the knowing. So it will be confused to be in another body and be like, but I know all of that. But why am I acting in it? Why my 3D life is different? So now, why I'm talking about it this way is when we hear that so often, if you, in a sense of want to have the union, the oneness, the connection, you need to stop having that idea of scientific proof of twin flames being real. And what you're experiencing is real. Because why? You don't believe right now. So how the other part of your energy can also trust what you're feeling and knowing. And whether we like it or we don't, it starts from us. I have now heard from this week and also all of the previous weeks right now, I've got so many beautiful calls from you. And this is another beautiful thing, that I know that I have calls out there where you can connect and talk and share and evolve. But now people are coming to tell me how much magic is starting to happen in their life. And they want to thank me for that. And I always say, in that sense, I just want to say, I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful because I love hearing the stories. Because that, again, how do I say, builds the biggest trust. And the trust is the battery of the heart, of the knowing, of the connection. When you have a trust, It will, so just to say that it's inside of you. Like all of that is inside of you. And we need to connect that. I had another, I think 2 weeks ago, we had a lot of people started to tell me, I started to do your heart meditation, which is on Patreon. And my twin came to tell me the things that I never thought is possible. Yeah. Why? Because you went within a heart. You started to believe that connection. You started to connect that. And I know doubt is a big sign of being on twin flame journey. I had it too. So now I will go into the quantum entanglement where we have the scientific so-called proof. We don't have that so much. And honestly, if I'm going to tell you really honestly, I don't care about the science. And now it sounds like, oh, how you don't care about the science? Because I care about the knowing of the heart. How many times in your life you've had a situation where your heart tells you something and you go based on the mind, and then later you're realizing, but why I didn't listen to my heart? Why I didn't listen when I had to listen to my heart? And so when I keep on hearing this, that I know how it is, I know what you have to do, when you do this, then you're gonna be. And it actually, I can feel it inside right now, even when I say that. My soul or the energy goes really like into, like it squeezes up. It feels like it's not about how I know. It's about how I feel and I connect. It's not about right and wrong. It's not about proving to somebody else. It's about becoming one within and start separating yourself from it. Another day I saw a very beautiful quote about quantum entanglement, which was just saying very clearly that how I'm going to read that right now. We're going to go into the quantum physics in a little bit. But according to quantum physics, a particle vibrating to your sound when you speak can affect the molecule inside of the star at the edge of the universe instantly. This phenomenon is known as a quantum entanglement. The greatest illusion of this universe is the illusion of separation. And this is why I talk about it. Many of you are so-called trying to get into the union, like one with your twin. And it's not about what you're going to do for them, like showing to them that we are twin flames, we need to be together, like you're trying to prove for them something. No, it's embodying it within you. And that's why we see the change and shift. Last night I had a very beautiful call with a man. And I also want to really say to the man that I know it's harder for you. I know you're functioning differently. I know your mind is different. I know there are different ways of connecting to it. But also what was beautiful about it, that we've been working with this man quite some time now. And he keeps on showing up and he puts the work and he puts the trust in it. And I remember, I think it must have been in January or something, and I said, we did channeling again, and I said, it's very strange for me that the energies are very, very close. You're energetically so close that there is no, in a sense, of 3D results. But then I could also see that there was a big shift happening in March and April. And I'm going to say you, most of the times in the channeling, I don't say the time frame. And why I don't say the time frame is because of the mind then gets stuck. The mind is like, okay, I don't have to do anything in between. I'm just going to wait for April. And then the April arrives and you have not followed up with an energy that we aligned with, nothing's going to happen. So it's very rare when I say these things, but sometimes it comes and I cannot hold it back. And now we just had that the twin, so-called twin, actually himself or herself, doesn't matter, the one energy returned in 3D. And it's just beautiful to see that he had the trust. He shifted from mind to the 5D, so from 3D to the 5D. And he was like, okay, I'm not giving the power to the mind. I'm giving the power to my heart. Another day also I had just a question, on which I'm going to talk about it more on this upcoming season, because we are now in the season 3 and Twin Flame Journey. Can't imagine that 2 years ago I launched that first episode over here, and now we are entering into the season 3. Season 3 will be a little bit different. I'll speak about that at the end of the podcast. Thank you for everyone actually who has been sticking around, who has been sharing their wisdom, sharing their journey, sharing their pain, sharing their happiness with all of us, and with me. I'm very, very grateful for that. And those who have come to the retreats and have transformed and changed and uplifted themselves. Talking of a retreat, Cyprus retreat for November 2025 is now on a waiting list. I do believe that we have 3 or 4 people already signed up for the waiting list. In about 2 or 3 weeks, all of the information will be finalized, and you can find that on the website. So November retreat in Cyprus is happening. You're more than welcome to join. Every retreat in that sense is different. It's depending on the energy. It's depending on what we need to. There is, of course, the baseline, what we always do to help you to get there. Anyways, let's move from here back to the 3D and 5D and quantum entanglement. So I explained that, and I'm going to repeat that because I wanted that you really feel it. And sometimes we hear the words, the same like we read The Power of Now, for example, and we understand what Eckhart Tolle is telling us, that you have right now, right here at the moment, but then we start worrying about the future and bringing the past with us. And that's the difference of a mind and the soul. And the heart in that sense. Soul, I call it heart. So sometimes it can be a bit mixed up when I talk about it. Meaning of, we accumulate information with our mind, but we don't feel it with the heart. And we don't live by that. It's very difficult to do, to live by heart. One of the most courageous things to do is to live by heart. And here is another thing I want to bring it in. Before, again, I'm going to repeat the same thing. We are so fragile of loving someone. But we are not fragile of saying, let's say I don't like somebody. We say it very casually. I don't like this person. I don't, and you don't really care if that person has feelings or not feelings or anything. You say it that we see that often when people say, I hate that person. I don't like it. I can't handle it. But then when it comes to the love, and you need to admit that you love someone without them loving you back, it's very difficult. Then the ego comes in of, how can I love someone when they don't express love back to me? So then I shouldn't be loving them. But how can you hate someone if this person doesn't hate you? So with love, it's actually the same thing. That love is not about if the person loves you back, and if the person is in a relationship with you, and if the person shows you what it is. Love is the source within you. And it's not about another person. The more we are seeking this in another person, the more we are going to be in pain. More lonely we're going to feel. More disappointed we're going to feel. And that's why the twin flame phenomenon is so beautiful. I know it's painful. Believe me, you can listen to the previous episodes. I am not talking that you have to now agree with all of this and embody this. But why I talk about it? Because it will tremendously help you to realize that showing to them, trying to convince others, trying to make their healing happening will not happen when you don't do that within you. And that's the hard truth. If in a sense of twin flames, and I'm going to repeat it, I'm just going to repeat that we have a bit of a shift today from here on. Meaning, think again. You're one energy with your twin. You're one. You're one. And today, I take your soul, the energy, and I put this in a body of mine, for example. So the consciousness came into my body. But I might be the one who is talking like this, and you'll be confused. I'll be like, oh, but I don't feel this way. I don't know what she's doing. What is this thing? And that's also when I talk about it, and why I am passionate about talking about becoming your higher self and the magnet. Because you cannot manifest abundance. You cannot manifest the love. You cannot be the best version of yourself if you are separate from you. So that 3D ascension into the 5D is necessary. And what is a 5D? What is the 5D? Just before I answer, close your eyes and tell me, what is the 5D dimension? Heart. It's not a universe. It's not somewhere else. It starts living from the heart. But if your heart is closed up, if your heart has pain, if your heart has trauma, if your heart has never been heard, it takes time to open it. And that's why having your twin flame as a catalyst who awakens you through the Kundalini, through that life force energy, Kundalini life force energy is the same thing, is a gift to you to realize you are one. And there is no separation. I was asked, like I said about another day, that how is it that we are creating our reality if we make decisions or agreements of coming into this world beforehand? So we make who we're gonna meet, who's going to be our soulmate, who's going to be our mother, who's going to be our father, who's going to be our twin, because you make these agreements before coming here. And I'm going to say that very in a short way. There's a longer version, and I'm making a podcast episode about it because it's a very important question. Because we so often think we are creating the reality from the mind. But we are not creating the reality from the mind. We are creating the reality from the heart. And that's why when I hear also about these things, when we say, I'm going to manifest my twin flame, I'm going to have my twin flame, I'm going to have my twin flame, but you don't feel that in your heart, you will not manifest it. And also the life you're going to have is in a certain way, so from your heart, from the vibration, from the heart and alignment. Because how many times, let's say, a God has removed the job or the universe has taken away from you something, and you would go around and say, everything works against me. Look, nothing is working out for me. It's all a mess. And then 5 years go by and you're realizing, oh my freaking God, that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. How I didn't see this. Because you were living in a mind, not in a heart of realizing that this had to happen for you to see and feel who you really are. I'm not going to go all the way into this. There's a bigger picture of it, but I will talk about it. So if you want to hear about it, if you want to connect to that, of course, like and subscribe, stay over here. Now, let me go into the fact of quantum entanglement. And there where you have a lot of answers in a sense of like what we have discovered of quantum physics so far. And I want to really, really say again, it's so important for me. And this episode idea is not about proving anything. And I'm not here to prove anything. I've said that many, many, many times. For me, I'm not here to prove you anything. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to tell you that this is going to work like a magic. I know. I have so much data. I have this and that. It's not my idea. My idea is that if it touches your soul and you hear something that all of a sudden cracks open for you and you feel, wow, oh my God, now that shifted. Now that opened up. Then you go closer to the love, closer to the oneness, and you are the light. Everything I do today, starting from energy work, because I believe in energy. I don't force anybody to believe in it. I don't force anyone to do anything. I don't say, I actually really rarely say, in a sense of, come and do the energy activation. Come and, when people ask me, when should I do the energy activation, or am I ready for it? And I say, just listen to your heart. If you are ready, your soul will put you on this path. You're gonna be there. But if you are not, and you're coming from the mind, it's very unlikely that's going to work, because you don't tap into that. And it's not that it's not going to work. It's going to work. But you're going to have a resistance, which I had a resistance in the beginning when my twin activated me. We all had a resistance. The resistance is that pain, that shift and the change, starting to speak the truth, starting to listen to your heart, starting to feel that sexual energy, all of these things. And I've been through that. And this is why I say that today's episode might be a little bit hard to swallow. And I'm not here to convince you in anything. I'm not here to prove you nothing. What I am here for is that I wanted that you trust your soul, your heart. What is it telling you? Is that what you're feeling towards that person who you met, who is you? It's not, yes, they have a different ego, they have a different life, they're operating in a different body, in a different element. But is that felt like home to you? Is that felt like you know this person way before? And also, there is this one little thing. If you, and I'm not saying, and here is another thing, I'm never saying that twin flames can't be together. Never. But we need to get rid of the idea that the end goal is a relationship. That's another thing I noticed so many times, how easy it is to so-called to sell, saying, look, me and my twin are together, we know exactly how it is, we're going to do this. And I'm not saying that they don't know the thrill of that. Of course they do. But we are selling again that it's the same thing like with a drug. You know, when you get your drug, what happens? You get high. Or when you drink alcohol, you feel all of a sudden, oh, I can rule the world. I feel so good. But that just shows we're depending on something. We don't trust ourselves and who we are. And that's why the more we are focused on the relationship, the more we are focused on the outcome, the more we are missing out of who you are. And believe me, if you are coming into the union from the place of not being aligned with your higher self, you get your twin and you will have a moment of, but that's it. That's all there is. But while we do it reversed, that you become one first, into the union, you start living who you are, and your twin comes to your life, it's like the best bonus ever. But I know it's hard to hear that, and I'm not here to convince you, I'm not here to force you. But, so, let's talk about quantum physics, if we want to go in science-based, because we often believe that what we are feeling on this journey is not real. So, what quantum entanglement shows us that two different particles, become entangled, and they remain linked no matter how far these parts are. So you can be here on Earth and your twin's energy can be in a completely in another universe. I don't know how many light years away, but you're connected. And if one particle changes its state, the other one reacts instantly, even if they are light years away. And this is something I have seen so many times when we do the Kundalini activations, when people are doing that, how their twin changes. And also that now I've heard about it. I'm not again here to say that do my heart meditation and you'll have the magic. I don't do any of this because of that, believe me. None of these things, the workshops, the materials, anything I do, I don't do that. I know I am the best. None of this is there for that. Everything comes from my soul and heart, honestly. If something comes through me, I am willing to share. I am here to service. And that's what I'm giving. If that helps one of you or two of you, wonderful. But what I have heard just now back from people when they have said they have done on my Patreon the heart meditation, and I think there's some other meditation, that they have felt the shift happening inside of them. And I believe with Joe Dispenza meditations and Deepak Chopra and all of these beautiful souls who are out there and are sharing the information, take on it, connect to that. It doesn't have to be mine. But what I have seen on Kundalini activations, that's why I now, in the sense of I have changed the calls in the sense that we have normal calls, which I believe that sometimes we just need to talk. I really needed to talk to someone when I had very difficult times. I really needed to talk because I felt so overwhelmed of what I'm feeling, what is happening, and I had no one to talk about it because everyone else, I'm not saying they would have laughed at me, but they wouldn't understand me. They would have said, yeah, happens, you had a crush on someone. But deep down inside of me, I felt it's not a crush on someone. There is something so life-changing all of a sudden. I could not cope on a 3D and 5D. I remember we used to go for events and I'm sitting there and I can feel it's like a fog. These people are talking, and I'm not there, I'm somewhere else. And now with Kundalini activations, because we have on the website, you have a talk, you can have a channeling, which is also very, very powerful. I'm just going to say, channeling is like a little mini operation. I'm not going to go into all of that because I don't want that you think that I am the one who is fixing you. I am the one I do nothing. Or in that sense, yes, I help you to see that part, but I'm not here to, it's you. It's you, and when your soul is asking for something, give that to your soul. And then, of course, the energy activation and energy activation and channeling at the same time, where we use the Kundalini energy. And I've seen that there is the biggest shift, of course. One of the reasons of that is, like it says, if one particle changes its state, the other one reacts instantly. And even if they're light years away. And this defies our conversational understanding of space and time. That says that some connection operate beyond the physical realm. And why I talk about today to quantum physics or quantum entanglement, because I really like for twin flames is a quantum couple or quantum energy. I love that. When I say the quantum energy, I feel it's so much lighter, so much more divine, so much more beautiful. It's kind of like magical. And that's what so-called twin flames are for me. When another day I saw it on social media, like I Googled or something, and who are twin flames? And there was like, oh, twin flames are a cult in America or something like this. And I was like, oh, no. Those who have felt the pure twin flame energy, they know that twin flames are not cult. It's so divine and it's so beautiful, and it breaks my heart of reading it. Because those who have experienced that real energy and those who have met other twin flames, who has that code, I call it the twin flames have a separate code inside of them. And it's the code of love, divine love. Twin flames are so beautiful. Really. You feel the energy, you feel the compassion, you feel their need to show the love for people. And then when I hear it's a cult, and it's toxic, and it's twin flames are not real, it's another, what was that, new age spiritualism. And I understand, it's so easy to put these words, but once you feel something so divine, it's not a cult. And of course, I'm going to say I'm sorry for some people who have used that and manipulated people. We have examples of that. And I'm very, very sorry for that. But also, I'm going to say, if you have a chance to start to align with yourself or with an energy, whether it's a twin flame or not, you're given a gift. So now we go back to this beyond time and space. So now if you think about twin flames, many people on the twin flame journey say that they're feeling their counterparts, like the twin flames' emotions, thoughts, and physical sensations, even when they're completely separate. And they haven't spoken to each other months or years, they don't know anything. And it's like their emotions, their energies are so deeply connected that the physical distance doesn't matter. And any of you who had it, I know you have shared so many examples with me, but please do that also on YouTube comments or Spotify. There are so many great examples you have shared with me, and if you're listening to that episode, take this 5 or 10 minutes and put it down. Why? Because it's really happening. And so in a world where we are used to seeing relationship as linear, cause and effect way, that's where now the entanglement, the twin flames starting to challenge. And that's the idea that twin flames are a bond that has an unseen force, like the particles, entangled particles, where one's energy shift is immediately felt by the other. And I know some of you wrote to me as well, of saying, I remember you said you could feel when your twin has been drinking alcohol. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I tested it so many times. And what is funny is he said, I had the same thing. I had a massive hangover even if I don't drink alcohol. And there are many other examples. I'm not going to read that because the podcast will go for hours like that. Maybe in the future I bring some of the examples in, especially if you leave them as a comment. Really, if you can. I know that it's a very private, and sometimes we feel biased, or we feel uncomfortable of sharing something so weird. You can put it in an email as well, twinflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com, and we'll pick it up at one point. So why I talk about it this way is that all of these weird things that started to happen to me, I could feel and I would know. Another thing was also just recently when we had a Costa Rica retreat, and I spoke to my twin, and he all of a sudden said to me, like, I felt so much euphoria, I felt so much happiness. There was, of course, the Costa Rica retreat was given like an energy of beyond imagination. And my twin said to me, do you know, I am so happy in my life right now. And you will not believe how I had tears in my eyes on that moment of that gratitude and that happiness, because we are in alignment. And he said, I have an amazing colleagues, I have an amazing job, I feel so much happiness. And I know what he went through as well, including myself. And that moment, and I have even tears right now in my eyes, and you can hear that my sound changed, because it made me so happy of knowing that same euphoria, what I was feeling on that moment, he was just, let's say, minutes later telling to me. And I could feel that. And it was like, again, it's such a beautiful moment. And so it's me in another body, but he's having his life, and I am having my life. And I'm having my soul contracts. And he's having his soul contracts. We are having our lessons, but the bond, I am in his energy. So if I am not happy, If I'm not alignment, my twin will not be there either. That's why I'm passionate about energy work. Because of it's the one that's going to shift and change. Whether we like it or we don't like it, and whether we believe it or not. And I don't force anyone to believe it. I say it's so sacred for me. I don't market this. I don't force this. I don't say that you have to do this. Most of the time I had like my assistant who was at the Costa Rica retreat, and she did the inner dance. By the way, inner dance coming on Patreon on 27th of April. I think we have 27th of April a chance to do this. And she looked at me. She knows me, I think, 2 years now. And she said, "But why you never do that to me? Why you never showed that magic to me?" And I was like, well, because you had to come and experience it here. I'm not going around having, you have to do this, you have to believe in twin flames, you have to believe we are real, you have to... No. I want you to feel. I want you to trust the heart that speaks the truth. And the truth, remember, truth is your battery. Trust is your battery. Truth and trust is your battery of the heart. If you don't have trust, you can't hear the heart. So now we go from here to non-locality and telepathic experiences. So non-locality is a principle in quantum physics that means objects or events can influence each other instantaneously, no matter how far apart you are. And scientists have repeatedly observed this with entangled particles, showing that they don't need a physical medium like a signal or wave to communicate. So meaning of, you change, you shift, your twin shifts. Do you see this immediately in the sense of 3D? No, because most of us, I'm going to say 90% of the humanity does not live in their higher self and by their heart. Most of us are living by our mind. So similarly in twin flames, you often experience intense telepathic communications. You receive intuitive messages, hearing your twin's thoughts, or suddenly feeling emotions that are not yours. And sometimes you even wake up at the same time, or you have exact same identical dreams, even if you're completely in the different parts of the world, even if you haven't spoken 10, 20 years. So the idea of a non-locality says that consciousness itself isn't confined to the brain, but it's connected to the interconnected field, which I speak a lot about it, collective consciousness. And that's why twin flames can feel each other regardless of the physical separation. So that's why the separation is an illusion. And we are just stepping into the quantum physics, but these are just the first things that we are coming in. And I'm 100% again. I remember that so vividly. It's so funny that how certain things in your life you remember so vividly, and at the same time you can completely forget about it, what was someone's name or what was the number of somewhere. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I remember when I had my phone and I was waiting for something, and all of a sudden it was like something started to come from me, and I started to write on my phone what my twin is feeling and saying, I want to contact you, I want to talk to you, but I'm feeling so much fear because of this and this and this and this. And I'm writing these things down and says, I love you so much. You have no idea how much I have for you, and I can't get you out of my head, and I'm missing you, and I just can't wait to see you. And I wrote these things down, and it was quite a long thing. And I read it. I was in shock. I said, well, I'm nuts. I'm crazy. He disappeared. He doesn't talk to me. And why do I write these things? Am I illusional? Like, I want him to feel this way? Like, the mind really came to... And I wanted to delete that. I was like, oh my God, what kind of person I am. Like, I really start to put myself down. But in some reasons, I didn't delete it. And thank God that I didn't. Because when the time went on and I stepped into my oneness and to my truth, my twin came to tell me all of that in 3D. And here is again, I know we had another day a conversation about healing. And I'm going to say one of the things, healing is one part, but transmuting the energy is another thing. And I'm a believer of transmuting the energy. I'm a believer of releasing the healing energy. That's why also on the retreats, before we start accumulating that magnetism, that oneness, we do the trauma release exercise to release the stagnant energy from your body that has been blocking there. And that's why for me, it's very, very difficult to say that we're going to do that from the mind. Block, don't do this, don't talk, don't do this. It just blows my mind because I'm like, and I'm not here to say that they're right or wrong, not at all. But what I believe is the shift, energetic shift. Okay, so let's go to the next thing from here, is the mirror effect in entangled particles. And one of the most profound aspects of quantum entanglement is that entangled particles often mirror each other's states. Isn't that interesting? For example, if one particle spins in one direction, the other one will spin in the opposite direction, maintaining the balance. And also on Twin Flame Journey, we often talk about the mirror effect. And it's often called as a mirror effect. Twin flames mirror each other's energies, both the light and the shadow. And this is why when we meet our twin flame, it triggers the deep self-reflection and intense personal transformation. And it's not just about the love and romance, it is about awakening. I would say 3 things you should write down to your journal today. Your deep transformational awakening. You are in another body as an energy. It's not separate, and separation is an illusion. And twin flames show each other their deepest wounds, fears, traumas, anything that can be healed and transmuted. And twin flames connection forces us to that growth. And just the same way like entangled particles must balance each other to maintain their connection. It's about the balance. Yeah. So it's not about another person. It's about you. When you embody this today, you start seeing the shift and change. So another thing is quantum superpositions. So in quantum physics, there is a kind of a strange thing or concept or idea called superposition, where a particle exists in multiple states at once until it's observed. And it's only when someone measures it that it chooses a defined state. So that's a little bit idea now. So it's a little bit harder to grasp. So this idea ideally aligns with the belief that twin flame can exist in a multiple dimensions. And also we believe in certain ways that twin flames are not just connected here in the physical reality, but also in the higher connections. And we believe that there is an energetic connection in the astral or soul planes, and there is union that is already completed. Already in another reality it's completed, but you haven't come to physically together. So this superposition kind of suggests, and it's a very, very hard concept to go around. I'm not going into detail because, like I said, I'm not a scientist. I'm not, but there is this possibility that the reality isn't as fixed as we think it is. So often I hear that, what is the reality? That twin flames is illusion. It's not real. And here again, I'm going to say, the illusion and it's not real. Trust your heart. Turn into the heart. So, as the superposition suggests that the reality isn't as fixed as we think it is, that means that the things exist in the multiple states at once and just waiting for your consciousness to bring them into focus. So how do I explain that? Right now, let's say you have 10 realities that are happening. And if you are focusing on a reality, no, my twin is not coming back to me, no, it's not going to happen, you're picking up that reality. Or if you are seeing the reality, like let's just say social media is a false reality. Most of the information you see on social media is false. People pretend to be more beautiful, people pretend to be more happy, people pretend to have more wealth. You see a reality that doesn't exist. So, and other. So it's depending where your consciousness is now gonna go and grab the reality. We have right now, I think came out that the multiverse exists, and there is a universe that has multiverse. So there is a lot of things that our mind cannot handle it, but our heart knows. And this also could explain why twin flames often feel like they have known each other from the past lives, or they feel a pull towards each other despite the circumstances that make no logical sense. And this is another thing on twin flames. It does not make any sense why you're so attracted, why you're so connected, why you have so much love towards a person you barely know. And wow, today's episode is going to go very long. But another thing is that this entanglement is unbreakable. And that's what I often hear. And this is what is another thing why I say the power of now is so powerful. There is no way out of it. And there is nowhere to run. And there is nowhere to stop that. I was asked another day that how can I be so much in peace while knowing, let's say I am in a marriage, I am in this moment, and at the same time I have twin and everything. And actually my very simple answer for this is, but I'm right now, right here experiencing life. I don't know what's going to come tomorrow. I don't even know what's going to happen today. I want to embody everything that I get, the food I eat, the people I get to hug, the things I get to touch, the things I get to experience, the way I get to move my body, the way I get to share the love and receive the love, the way I get to speak my truth, be me right now, right here. The human experience is so short. And I want to feel that with every single cell of my body. And if I wake up and there is so much love I have with my husband and with my kids, with my dog, with my house, I want to feel that. And if there is a day where I feel more tired, where I feel more, I'm going to feel that too. It's all part of the human experience and being right now, right here. When I say I don't know what's going to come, doesn't mean that I don't know if, let's say, I'm going to go to work or I'm going to go do this. Or of course I have a plan, but I'm not sticking into that. I let it happen. And it's very unlike how I was before. And there is a freedom. I want to remember in that sense every single moment I can. That's why I'm less time on social media. I am more like sometimes I watch out of the window for an hour. I just stare at something. Let's say another day there were 2 pigeons who were kissing each other. And I just watch them. And I'm just getting lost there. For me, it's being right now, right here. And that's again the biggest gift my twin flame ever gave it to me. I'm not going to say that you have to feel this way right now. Believe me, I did not feel this way. And if I would have heard this podcast, my words right now, I'd have been like, yeah, I don't care. I'm feeling such a longing. I feel so lonely. I feel so much pain. I'm so much I can't eat. I can't sleep. I can't do everything. And you tell me there is a bliss. Go home. I don't care. I totally get that. I totally get that. So the entanglement is unbreakable. And so one of the most incredible things about quantum entanglement is that once two particles become entangled, they remain connected forever. Their link is unbreakable, regardless how much time passes or how far apart they are. And that's the truth, whether we like it or we don't. And this is exactly how twin flame connection feels, even during the periods of separation, or when one or both twins try to move on, the connection remains. And many twin flames find that no matter how much they try to ignore or forget their counterpart, something always brings them back. Whether it's an intuitive message, synchronicities, or just you're going to run into each other when you least expect it. And just like entangled particles remain linked beyond physical limitations, twin flames remain bonded at the soul level. It's not about attachment or obsession. It's about energetic resonance that cannot be undone. And that's another thing. I have more examples to bring in, but I feel we're going very long today. It's another thing here that we need to get comfortable. And again, I'm bringing my own example when people ask me, how can I be so much in peace with that, of knowing it? But is there anything I can undo now? If there is this strong bond between, and I happen to experience this in my lifetime, you'll not have any idea, or maybe you do. It's very egoistic of me to think that you don't have an idea. How thankful I am that this lifetime I had a chance to meet this person who activated me in a way that I could have never imagined someone can activate. Someone can show me the deepest love and bring me to oneness within me. Being so-called of higher self, connected to my heart, yes, sometimes it doesn't make sense. And some people might have a very difficult times to be around me because I don't make sense. But my heart makes sense, and I live from the heart. And I will never give up on that, because that pain, that growth I went through is thanks to this beautiful experience. And that's why, again, like I mentioned, if someone says twin flames are not real, they are cult, they are manipulation, they are this, I'm like, I just wish you would have ever felt that energy. That beautiful connection energy. That you. And in certain ways, even when I say you is not correct, because it's one. Anyways, that was quite a lot, the first episode for the third season. Thank you for being here. If you found this helpful, if it gave you some kind of a peace and some kind of an understanding, but all of your feedback is more than welcome. How you see that, how you have felt that, what are the things that have happened to you while being on this journey? Everything is more than welcome. I think when we share the information from our heart, we share the truth. And that's why for me, like I said in the beginning, it's not about science. It's not about right and wrong. It's not about how it's supposed to be. You follow these 10 steps and this magic gonna happen. You're gonna do this and that's gonna happen. For me, about is living from the heart, connecting to it, and seeing how the shift and change starts to happen. Remember, everything is energy. So anyways, maybe then some of these examples help you to realize that you can't get out of it. You have to dive into that, connect to that, and see you as an energy of realizing that when you shift and believe in that, you get connected. On my next episode, of course, I'm going to talk about when twin flames can get dangerous, meaning of when the whole concept, the idea can get dangerous, and what we should look out for on that moment. Because like I said, and I'm not here to say that someone puts out the wrong information or that I am right or somebody is wrong. It's none of my idea. What I mean is when you can get stuck in a cycle and it becomes dangerous and it's going to burn your life. So that's the next episode. So if you want to hear about it, make sure to like, subscribe, be here, support the channel. I want to say a huge thank you for those who are supporting the channel on Patreon. It helps a lot because I get to do more. I get to also on the third season, we are going to have now more guests coming. We have our Costa Rican guide coming to talk about the connection between nature and love and all of that. Our team loved him in our retreat, so we bring him to talk about it, and then some other beautiful souls to explain also a little bit more. The third season will be focused more on a higher self. I have plenty of information about twin flames in that sense, but it will be now the transformation. I think we are ready for it. And if you're new here, if you're ready to transform, welcome. Anyways, it's a very long episode for today. So thank you for being here. And just to say, the calls are available. So you can have the call to realize whether you are on this journey, what is happening with you, whether you want to do a channeling and see what is energetically is happening there, or the activation at the same time. Anything you wish. I'm going to really say, if you're ready, listen to your heart. And of course, the Cyprus retreat is in November. Those who wish to join, you're more than welcome to sign up. On a website, you can sign up for the waiting list. And yeah, I'm so happy that you were here and you were listening. I hope you are also, because there was a little break right now. Anyways, like always, lots of love and light.
You feel so far away, though you're close. Where's your mind at? I wanna know. A penny for your thoughts. I wanna know what's inside that heart of yours. Ooh, I feel paper thin. Ooh, when will you let me in? Do you let anyone get under your skin? You play it cool, but underneath I know you're hiding something. Do you let anyone get under your skin? I just wanna get to know you, so would you let me get to know you, boy? You feel so far away, though you're close. Where's your heart at? I wanna know. A penny